Ahead and get started here. This is our weekly business meeting, about 24 hours after our normal schedule due to the Independence Day holiday. It is 2 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right, I don't hear that. So we will go back to a moment of silence, please. Okay, Colin, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. And I would take a motion for minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes, items 1 through 3.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion approved. And consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar, items 4 through 8.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, payables list.
I move that we approve the payables list from June 26 to June 30, 2023, in the amount of $660,140.22 and $4,249.53 of jury panel payments.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion approved. And our first business item is quote approval for contract update. And this is Everbridge and our 911, Colin McCroy.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Colin McCroy, Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, for the record. What we are requesting with this is to modify and update our current Everbridge contract. We have a new contract model called Public Communications Advanced. This has additional modules that we would like to add. We've obviously dispatch, low staff. We look at ways technology can improve workflows. One way is with the Everbridge email ingestion module. We can streamline special team pages and call outs from a single command line type paging. It's something we've been looking to add for a while. This would add that to our Everbridge system. So that's one of the extra features that we would get. Main reason we are asking to do this. The cost to add it additionally is a little over $7,300 this year. It'll actually be less than that since we aren't starting on the start date of this contract. It'll be prorated lower to our actual start date, so it will not exceed that amount. This is currently unbudgeted, but we can easily make this up in the 124 restricted fund budget for this year. I would also note too, this will be for our current contract, which will renew in April of next year. Our current budget request does not include this contract increase for FY24, which we can, if the board would like us, does approve this and would like us to adjust that number, we can do that. Certainly send the numbers to Brandy and have our budget request for FY24 adjusted, or leave it as be. We will we would have enough room in the budget to cover the additional cost, which I had written down somewhere. It would be from our FY24 request. It would be additional $8,041.22 would be our new additional FY24 request if this is approved and we wish to continue the same contract level in our next contract period.
Brandy, which would you prefer? Is it a problem to increase the budget at this point for FY24?
No, because there's some funding.
Okay. then yeah, we'll go ahead and add it to the 24 budget. So questions, motion?
I move that we approve the quote approval for contract update for Everbridge and 911.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
The motion.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. All right, item 11, before the movie advertising agreement and our human resources. Zach?
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Newkirk for the record. This is simply a request to sign a advertising contract with Before the Movie to do local advertisement with the Hayden Discount Cinema, the role before the movies where we're able to advertise that the county is currently hiring.
Do you already have a 30-second video that you intend to show?
We do not, but part of the contract is they will create the 30-second product video, or the video that will go on before the movies. We just supply them with the creative information.
Great. Questions, motion?
I'm just curious, do you have any way to track this method at all for bringing prospects in?
It's a good question. Unfortunately, this one is very difficult to track. There's the possibility that we could embed a QR code in the roll as it goes. 30 seconds is not a lot of time for somebody to pull out their phone and take a picture of the QR code, but we can let that link directly tell us how many people are scanning it. That doesn't necessarily reflect how many people are seeing the ad and saying, my friend over here could really use a job, and that friend then goes and applies on the website. We do have on all of our applications a question where the applicant indicates where they found that we were hiring. The accuracy of that being filled out, I would venture to say, is very low. Often people will select the first item on that list just to bypass the question. So we can attempt to track it. I can't say with a great deal of accuracy.
Okay, the only reason I say that is just because it's easy to spend the money. But understanding where you're getting the most bang for your dollar, I think is really important. So it's just something to kind of think about. Those are the only questions.
If it matters, I find those ads very helpful.
How much is it and for how long?
So it is a little over $2,000, $21.54. It will last for 3 months,
3 months,
and it will
okay.
be 30-second spots before
Okay,
each
it's
movie.
3 months, yep.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, motion?
I move that we approve before the movie advertising agreement with HR.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Item 12, approval of transaction. Okay, let's see here. This is for our HR department. Transaction management trading partner information and regions. So Sylvia Proud?
Sylvia Proud for the record. A few weeks ago, we had given notice to PlanSource, our benefit administrative platform that we use, that we were going to be transitioning to another entity. And so as we're getting this rolling, there's going to be a need for us to transmit records between Regents and our future vendor. So Regents requires that the board authorizes them to share information with any of our vendors. And basically what that does is allows us to communicate with the health insurance carrier and back to our benefit platform any health enrollment information and changes that come along. And that's how the files are transmitted back and forth.
All right, questions?
There's no cost to this, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, motion?
I move that we approve the transaction management training partner information with Regents and HR.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Item 13, this is Grant Agreement C2373KC, and it's our FTA 5310 Small Urban Funding Agreement for Demand Response Vehicle and FTA, Federal Transit Administration, in the amount of $124,000, cash and in-kind match with our public transportation partners, and Kootenai County $31,000, and Chad Engel, are you handling the next 4?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Commissioners. Chad Engel with RMO for the record. We are seeking approval for the grant. I don't know if we can include all 4, but for the grant agreements with Idaho Transportation Department for the purchase of our demand response paratransit vehicles with FTA funds. These agreements have been reviewed and approved by legal.
Questions?
No questions.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably just rather handle them individually, Chad, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. All right, motion?
I move that we approve grant agreement number C as in Charlie, 2373, K as in Kilo, C as in Charlie, with FTA 5310 Small Urban Funding Agreement for demand response vehicle with FTA of $124,000 with a cash and in-kind match with the Public Transportation Partners in Kootenai County of $31,000.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. Item 14, grant agreement C2373K2, and this is FTA 5310, Small Urban Funding Agreement, Demand Response Vehicle. FTA is $170,000, cash or in-kind is $35,000, and Mr. Engel again.
Yes, Chad Engel for the record again, and we are seeking approval for the grant agreement again with Idaho Transportation Department, purchase of our demand response paratransit vehicles with FTA funds. On this one, we did have a mistake on the match funds, and so the actual match funds is $42,500 on this agreement.
Okay, and Dave, is that a problem since it's listed differently on the agenda for match funds?
No.
Okay, thank you. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve grant agreement number C2373K2 slash FTA 5310 Small Urban Funding Agreement Demand Response Vehicle with the Federal Transit Administration in the amount of $170,000 with a cash match or in-kind match, Local Transportation Partners, Kootenai County, $42,000. Is that right?
42,500.
Yes, okay.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. All right, item 15, grant agreement C2376KC, and this is FTA 5339, Small Urban Funding Agreement for paratransit vehicles. And the amount for FTA is $220,706. Cash in-kind match is $55,000. Mr. Engel.
Chad Engel for the record again, ARMO. Again, we are seeking approval for a grant agreement with Idaho Transportation Department for the purchase of demand response paratransit vehicles. And again, there was a slight error on this one, so the match funds is $55,177.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve grant agreement C2376KC FTA 5339 Small Urban Funding Agreement for paratransit vehicles. FTA a total amount of $220,706 with a cash and in-kind match Public Transportation Partners in Kootenai County of $55,177.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. Item 16, grant agreement C2379KC FTA 5339, statewide bus and bus facilities program, FTA $475,000, and cash or in-kind match from our local partners is, Chad, is this one $118,750?
That is correct, yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so this is another one that was incorrect on our agenda, but that's fine. Go ahead and tell us about it.
Okay. Chad Engel for the last time for the record. We are seeking approval for the grant agreement with the Idaho Transportation Department again, purchasing our demand response and paratransit vehicles with FTA funds. And this one also, along with the others, has been reviewed and approved by legal.
Okay, questions, motion?
How come we have a little different number?
This is for multiple buses, so this one was for 4 buses instead of the other ones were individual, just the way that ITD had to put everything together. So it was different funding pots that they came from, and so that's why you see the differences.
Can that be fixed for the future?
Unfortunately, just the way that all the funding comes in, it's just wherever they're able to pull that from. And on this one, we actually had to do a statewide application for it. And then the other ones were just supplemental funding that they had that they could put together as we needed more buses. So we try and do it all as one, but it doesn't always happen that
So
way.
this 115,000 is actually how much?
118,750.
I think that's what Commissioner Brooks is referring to is the agenda matching what the actual funding is. And so I guess that would be the question is 3 out of the 4 grants had the wrong amounts listed.
Gotcha. So, yeah, that was just a little bit of confusion as far as if we were using cash match or in kind. And so it was submitted that way, but it ends up using we're using cash match for these. And so that's why there is a little bit of difference on those 3.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve agreement number C2, let's see, 379KC / FTA 5339 statewide bus and bus facilities program with the Federal Transit Administration in the amount of $475,000 cash and with an in-kind local transportation partners, Kootenai County, match for
18?
What?
118?
118,
750.
750.
I second the motion.
Leslie.
Yes.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion carries. And item 17, this is grant agreement 316-0010-0592023. And these are taxiways NHGL and aircraft parking apron, pavement maintenance with FAA funds in the amount of $325,252 cash match from Fund 30 and $27,104.33, which is max 7.5% from local airport and our local Ardura engineer, Corey.
Corey Sickford with Ardura for the record. This grant agreement is for seal coating pavements, taxiways, NHGL, and the aircraft parking apron. It's for the contract or the construction agreement with RPI, and then also for engineering services are wrapped into this grant amount for 90% of FAA funds and 2.5% state and 7.5% max for the county.
And is the state, is that solid or we're still waiting to hear?
No, it's it flexes between 2.5% and 5%.
Okay. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve grant agreement 3-16-0010-059-2023 for taxiways NHGL and the aircraft parking apron pavement maintenance with the FAA of $325,252 with a cash match from Fund 30 in the amount of $27,104.33.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you, Corey. Okay, item 18, termination of ground lease AAL-2011-800, and this is a county T-hanger number 2 for Lee Hannibal. And Kim, are you on the line? Dave, can we just go ahead and handle the termination? Because I
Yeah,
believe
so
you.
if you don't have any questions, then I see no reason not to.
Okay. Thoughts?
No questions.
Okay.
I move that we approve termination of ground lease AAL 2011-800 with a county port T hangar number 2, West Hannibal.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 19, this is a development and ground lease for AAL 2022-2100, and this is a hangar development, CSI Flight Services, LLC. And once again, anybody from our airport? Okay. I'm fine handling this one as well, as long as nobody has any questions. It's 19,222 square feet, and the base term is 25 years with a 25-year
Option.
thank you, and a total of $4,363.40 to be paid monthly in the amount of $363.61. That's about it.
It looks like a standard lease. So I move that we approve development and ground lease AAL-2022-2100 for the hangar development with CSI Flight Services, LLC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion carries. And item 20, Resolution 2023-60, and this is to sign the community development fee schedule with community development. Director Callahan, did you want to say anything?
Commissioners, I believe this is properly before you and ready to be signed, and we are set to actually implement today.
Okay, I think we adopted that. Well, the public hearing was on the 21st. Yeah. So, questions, motion?
No questions.
I move that we approve Resolution 2023-60, signed community development fee schedule for community development.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Item 21, Resolution 2023-61. This is for federal fiscal year 2023 Title III funds, and this is the election for National Forest-related safety net payments. And our auditor's office, Julina Hildreth.
Good afternoon, Jelena Hildreth for the record. You have before you a resolution, but before we get to that, there's one extra little thing that I need you guys to give direction on regarding SRS funding. So since 2013, as of last year was the first year since 2013 that you could choose to change your percentage of Title III and Title II funds. This year is the first year since 2013 that they've given us a choice, the counties, to choose between the 1908 Act funds and SRS funding. And so I just wanted to explain the difference, and I didn't think it needed to really be an action, but we just have to elect it. And then what I did is prepared the resolution based on the percentages that you approved last year. In the event that we go that route and you're okay with that percentage, then I didn't have to come back before you. So the difference between the 1908 funds or the 1908 Act funds and the SRS funding is the SRS funding is based on the mileage of forest land in our county, and we get a percentage of those funds, and 85% of it goes to, and it's divided between schools and highway districts. 30% of it is to the school districts, the remaining goes to the highway districts, and then the 15% we can elect to do Title II and Title III, which I'll explain to you. The 1908 Act is it's a 25% of the 7-year rolling average, and it's only to be divided between the school districts and the highway districts based on a percentage that the state sets forth. However, when I contacted Kelly Brassfield from IAC, no one in the state uses the 1908 Act, and so she didn't even know what the percentage was. But, so that would mean if we went that route, we wouldn't be able to get Title III funds. And they gave us an estimate of what the 1908 Act funds would be for this year, and it would be about $165,000. Whereas if we do SRS funding, it's $415,000. So I asked, why would that even be a benefit? Why would we even have a choice? Because to me, obviously, it makes sense that we would want to get the most money for our districts. We happen to be one of the counties where it's reversed. A lot of counties get more money using the 1908 Act, but for some reason, our rolling average makes it less. So before we continue with the resolution, I just wanted to confirm with you guys that, in my opinion, it makes sense to do the SRS funding because not only do the highway districts and the school districts get more funding, but we can also capitalize and get some of the Title III funds, which for you, Commissioner Rattari, probably aren't familiar with it because this is your first go around, but we can use Title III funds for reimbursement to our sheriff's office, as well as like OEM does some Fire Smart stuff. But anyway, it can be used to reimburse our time spent on backcountry searches. So anything that is done like through search and rescue or whatever. So that being said, if you guys are on board with us using SRS funding, I've prepared the resolution based on what you guys decided last year, which is because of the amount of money that we get, we can only, the max that we can do on our Title III is 7%. And so I prepared the resolution at 7%. And if you guys don't want that and you choose to do something else, I'll have to come back before you.
Okay, questions?
No questions, thank you.
So yes, I would assume SRS funding is the way we want to go.
It gave us about, there was a sequestration last year, but it gave us $28,000 that the sheriff's office can use for typically its equipment, ATVs, UTVs, things like that. So it saves the taxpayers.
Okay. And is there a publication requirement?
And for this, no. When they go to get reimbursed, there is. And in fact, Ryan Miller has one right now. We have to publish, people have 45 days to comment, and then we come back before you, which we will be in the first week of August.
Okay,
So,
great. All right, any further questions?
Nope.
Motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 2023-61 for FFY 2023 Title III funds, election for National Forest-related safety net payments.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, status update pending list. Nothing to report on facilities expansion. The Facilities Working Group will meet again on we're past that, July 17th. So how about impact fees?
Impact fees.
Grab your-
We had one, mayor who was a little hesitant, had some questions, so I'm meeting with him and the sheriff next week sometime.
Okay,
Should get that resolved.
perfect.
Can I just ask a couple questions? It looks like we really just want the cities to ensure that before they issue any permits that the fees have been paid to the county. I know we sent the letter out, and it doesn't seem like very many folks are responding. Is there anything else that we could maybe do to at least help facilitate this process, whether it's, taking their forms and having a proposed new form as a checklist or something? Because it doesn't seem like there's much that can be done to compel people to do this. It's really just a matter of, trying to build a partnership where they, they want to, be good stewards on their end.
Good question.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder if we couldn't just assign that to someone to just start reaching out, calling, and just saying, what do we have to do, to implement something like this?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if it would be David Callahan who has that form or something, but that would probably be, the next step would be to introduce the form to the mayors and see if we can get some verbal, if not written commitment on that, and then also find out when when we're going to have the public hearing. So that's probably the best next step at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's okay, when I see some of the mayors or so, I can mention that to them as well.
Sure.
Because on some of the boards I sit on, they're on that as well. It just seems like something that we should, be able to get some receptivity to.
Some buy-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right, nothing on the prosecutor's space, no update there. And jail pods, how's that going?
When you see some numbers.
Okay, so I think that probably Captain Heil might know where we're at with the RFQ process. So,
I'm gonna see Sheriff Morris early next week. This has been kind of a screwed up week, as you can imagine.
sure. All right, then I guess that's it. Public comment?
Yes, take some cupcakes, please. I know you all are not gonna eat cupcakes, but at least take 4 each back for your colleagues.
All right, 2:33, meeting adjourned. Thank you.